not going to jump right into the game quite yet. We're going to explain a couple things and then just let the game speak for itself and maybe talk a bit over it as things come by. So to recap, Woodhouse is a different kind of first-person shooter. There's a lot that we like about the first-person shooter genre, but a lot of it has stagnated over the past couple decades. A couple things that we want to bring into it is some of the combat that we see in Super Smash Bros. We like the fact that there's utility to all of your attacks. There's this ebb and flow of combat. It's not just walk up, get shot and killed in 3 seconds, and then respawn and do it all again. We like that there's a dynamic quality to combat in Super Smash Bros., that there's teamwork in League of Legends, and we wanted to put all of that into the shooter and reimagine it as something that we think is a lot healthier for the community surrounding it and the gameplay while you're going through it. So what we've done so far is quite a bit in terms of what our goals were for the semester. We have fully networked games. We can have people playing together from wherever we want. We have 3 weapons in right now. We have a map in, we have a game mode in, we have a main menu, a server browser. All of that can be done either on local machines or through Azure Cloud. The game's ready to be deployed to people and be played from anywhere that we want. There's just a lot of polish that needs to go into it from this point and adding content. Every single team has been hard at work on getting these features in. We've had a lot of art challenges, like it seems every team has had. But we've done a lot to combat that. We chose a style that was low poly on purpose because we thought that it not only added clarity to our combat with less dense textures, you can kind of see what's going on a little bit better, but it added a unique style to it that didn't make it look like every war shooter ever. And it's given our artists a lot of time to create a really, really cool world in a much smaller amount of time. And they've been killing it so far, and we're excited with the map that we're going to show you today. I'll pass it off to Adrian to kind of talk about the engineering stuff that we've been doing.
Yeah, so we have kind of like a laundry list of engineering tasks that we've already mostly gotten to. And I'll just kind of list them briefly and also kind of point them out as we run through the game a little bit. So we started out, we had to get networking and replication working right. We had to teach ourselves how to use it as well as set up our gameplay architecture in such a way that everything is easily extensible and works on the network. We've been hard at work getting really good feeling movement in. Like this is important, this is like a twitchy game, so if you're lugging around, it's not going to feel right. So tweaking that, messing with the physics. Our weapon system, I mean, we have this incredible weapons architecture that by now is like, it's really easy to just jump in and make new weapons. We have the concept of, so there's a weapon, there's a projectile, there's an explosion effect. You can do a direct hit, you can do AoE, you can have lasting effects on the player. What else? Yeah, we've been doing metrics. We've been focusing on UI early. Like we have a pretty decent looking HUD right now. We'll focus more on the menu later, but the HUD is super cool so far. We have been working hard on our backend as well. We have right now a collection of 3 different services in like a microservices architecture. We have a server browser and matchmaking. Like it's a very early stage matchmaking system. We have stats, and we have a platform that will is basically manages user accounts, which will later roll into a website where you can actually go look at your stats and interact with your progress, I guess. So let's.
And one more thing, kind of talking about what we're going to be doing for the rest of the semester. Content we're just going to keep developing. We have mapped out for this semester. We're going to be doing probably 5 weapons in total, polishing the 3 existing ones as well as adding 2 more. We're aiming for 2 maps for this semester, polishing this one, adding another. And in terms of the metrics, our goal by the end of the semester is to have fully integrated web profiles where you can log in with your email at the start of the game, associate it with your profile, and go check your stats over time. Look at tons of graphs and see all the data for how you are improving over time, where are you dying a lot, where are you succeeding a lot. And we want to graph that and really integrate the teamwork aspects of the game. Who do you play well with? Build it up to be a community that focuses like a sports team, where it's like, hey, those 3 individuals, that team that they have is really strong, and we want to support them in this kind of game match. And it's not 60-minute matches; it's these 3 to 5 minute matches, kind of like Super Smash. So it's really easy to digest it all. So let's hop into gameplay. Hopefully our sound's okay. We had a couple issues with doing sound through the speakers, but hopefully you guys can see everything. Right now, Sean's going to be creating a match into our server browser. He's going to name it something like Woodhouse Midterm or anything like that.
Let me point out, so he's creating a match, but he's not actually hosting it on his local machine. The service is going to go find him an empty dedicated server and give it that name.
So hit confirm, and here we are, right in our map. So for us, it was really important for people to digest what's going on. in the game before the game actually starts, because it kind of sucks when you jump into a game you haven't played before and don't quite know what's going on. So right now, they're in a pre-match. You'll notice that this timer's not going. He has 2 dots here. That means 2 of his teammates are still alive. And they're just messing around in pre-match. They haven't hit ready up yet. They haven't started playing. Can you turn up the sound a little bit? Sean? Uh-oh. Something happened.
Oh, no. That's the game.
Oh.
You dropped it.
Relaunch the game, actually.
Might drop the server though. Or,
No, it's not.
Oh, it's not.
server.
Cool, so he's going to rejoin that game that he actually created.
No, quit out and launch the executable again.
Sorry. So while he gets sound up and running, as you can see, everybody's in this kind of like pre-match state where they can ready up, get used to the combat. What we're going to have in that section is people are going to be able to select their teams, communicate, maybe plan out some strategies, and choose their weapons. Choosing a weapon is a lot like choosing a class. So they're going to be able to choose, maybe more of a support type weapon that helps your teammates more than it has kill potential for other enemies. And so he's just going to rejoin this match here. Hopefully he has... Yeah, we got a little sound. Yeah, he has it. Okay, so they're going to be playing around. So if everyone wants to just ready up, everybody who's playing... Press Q to ready up. There we go. So everyone's playing now. Enjoy the Cantina song. You're welcome. So everyone can select their different weapons. Right now, Sean's going to grab his charge shot weapon. So he's going to press 1 to select that. We're not going to have weapon switching in the game, but it was for debug purposes and for us to show you guys what's going on. The material on the red players is a little wonky right now, so they got that flashing to them, but the fact that there is red on them signifies they're on the red team. We have a little bit of screen lag just in terms of sending that here, so it's running a little bit slower. But his goal is, with the charge weapon, is he can alternate fire against a teammate to build up charge at the start of a match or in the middle of a fight. Oh, and he's gone, and now he's a spectator. So he still has 2 teammates alive, and he's going to watch them play this out. I think they're against how many red players? They have 1 red player, or 2 red players to kill or 1 red player to kill right now. So hopefully they're going to sync it up. Maybe one of them can land the bubble shot, which is the alternate fire of the Semtex, to kind of pull the red player off the map. See right there, that growing bubble? If that grabs the red player, it's going to yank them toward the center and past it if they have enough damage built up on them. As you guys will be able to see when Sean respawns, he has a percentage here, a lot like Super Smash Brothers, where when they get hit more and more over time, they will be more susceptible to knockback. And if you get stunned enough or hit enough, you will be able to recover onto the map. Sweet, so right now Sean's watching them play around. Let's see if red player or blue player can get the kill. Oh, someone fell off. Blue player's dead. So that's the end of 1 round. So a lot of this is in place, and a lot of it is what we like, but a lot of it still needs to be worked on to a huge degree. We need way more feedback, and that's one of the harder things to nail, and it's something that, because we now have our core systems in place, can finally focus on. These 3 weapons, starting in our sprint over the next 2 weeks, will be getting feedback passes. That's the goal of them. We're going to be slowing down combat a little bit, and we're going to be really working on emphasizing team mechanics over individual mechanics, but still giving a player who's the last man remaining on their team a chance to win it.
Speaking of team mechanics, let's next round let's show off that shield weapon.
Yeah. So of the 3 weapons we have a charge shot that allows you to bounce things off of your teammates and charge up your weapon to get a really powerful shot. We have the Semtex weapon, which shoots out a landmine, but also has this bubble that can pull people into those landmines. And we have a shield weapon that has the potential to put down a big wall and solidify it if you shoot it afterwards, and also detonate it to kill enemies, which can actually lead to some pretty cool mechanics when you block a shot just in time to save your teammate. We also have mapped out at least 1 more game mode, which is single flag, capture the flag, but we also really want to do King of the Hill because this is the right kind of gameplay for it. Another thing we're going to be working on is extending our knockback to be a lot more horizontal than vertical. We found just through playtesting that players enjoy recovering horizontally a lot more than they enjoy kind of like aiming their way down.
Stop being good.
Sean needs to play a little worse right now. So you know, there's a lot of stuff. There we go. We got knocked off the top. So a lot we've taken from Smash we like a lot, but there's a lot that we want to branch out on and kind of make it its own in the first-person shooter genre. Well, seems like we're gonna watch. It looks like red team's actually doing pretty well right now. One blue player is left.
Zach, if you want to take one for the team.
I'll take one. Zach's just gonna fall to his death there. Yeah, so that's everything for our midterm. We have a lot of work to do, but we're happy with where we're at now, and we really want you guys to please come play and test the game with us. We want to stop playing, and we want to get other people playing. And it's as easy as you walking down the lab and playing with us, or us just sending you a file, and you can open it up on Mac or PC. Yeah, Mac, anyone? We could get anybody hooked up to this on a Mac. I play from my Mac every so often from home. So that's it. This is Woodhouse. Thank you very much.
Questions, please.
Yeah, the characters right now are completely temp because we've just been putting in a lot of work to animating and getting the skeleton mesh in. We just didn't throw it in for today. The character mesh isn't going to be that, and it's going to be a completely different shader. As I said.
For the world, you also have some other shader for the world because right now it's just low poly but not that much polished.
For the wall?
The
world cartoon shader.
Oh, just for the world map? We're going with low poly. We're going to polish it up more, but we do like this style. We like the low poly kind of zeroed normals look, but there's a lot that needs to go into the environment to give it a little bit more life.
Also, when a player gets farmed or gets killed, he just stays stagnant until the end of turn?
For this game mode, it's per game mode. On some game modes, we're going to have it where there's no respawn time. In this one, we just did single elimination to kind of get a good gauge of like how often are people staying dead. It was a good game mode for us to test certain things about what felt good in the shooter and kind of pushing it to the extremes. And there's a lot we've learned from that.
Can your teammates revive you?
At this point, no. It's a potential game mode in the future, though.
What's a map theme idea that you guys are excited about implementing?
Man, there's a lot. It's so much. It's really fun because every artist, engineer, designer has this cool map that they want to do. I'm trying to think. This one has a cool stage mechanic that we're working on where the lava comes out of the center and creates a pillar of smoke so you can't see through and you have to stay on those outer islands.
Awesome.
There's talk of like a pendulum swinging through a level and you can hit people into it and just like knock them out of the way. Yeah, you guys send me your map ideas. There's a lot of cool stuff that can go in and work well with the utility-based system.
Great.
Right.
So a lot of what you talk about has to do with teamwork as well. You mentioned, people working together and specific mechanics and weapons, facilitating that. What has the experience been with the speed of the game facilitating that teamwork? Because it seems like it's kind of like crazy all over the
Very
place.
frenetic, yeah.
Like no way to kind of align with each other?
We are consistently slowing down the game.
Okay.
And there's a lot that we want to do. We actually talked to one of our advisors, and he had some really great feedback about slowing down combat in general, but we're going to be implementing a ping system to kind of talk to your teammates without having to type or say anything. One of those things, though, that we're considering is like a rallying cry, so that we can have these kind of slightly larger maps. So anyone who's not in that combat zone, if you kind of call your teammates to you, it will boost their speed to allow them to get into combat, and once they're there, slow things down, so that people don't feel like they're not a part of the fun, but that once they're there, you have enough to set up that bump set spike of volleyball, that there's enough, it's slowed down enough to be able to do that. Anyone else?
So as I was watching the game, one thing I wanted to point out is as a spectator, and spectating is becoming really, really, really important in the new generation of games. The user interface really needs to communicate the story of what's going on. I can clearly see how many team members are remaining for blue, but there's no indication what that is for red. So you want to tell the story on both sides. You also want to really kind of indicate visually how your percentage of health is, it's a percentage, but it goes beyond 100. So it's a number that almost takes on kind of like a meaninglessness. It would be nice if there was sort of like a bar or a gauge or something that could tell a better visual story, so that as you're spectating and watching the game, you can understand the risks and the status of the game a little bit better.
That's fantastic feedback. Thank you.
Okay.
We'll definitely be addressing that. I agree with the percentage thing.
Sweet. Okay.
Like in Spanish, when you're playing, you know where you are, exactly where you are on the map, and you know exactly where the other players are. In a first-person shooter, it's a lot easier to get like really disoriented and not know where you are, and then not know where other people are. Do you guys? Is that one of the challenges for the game, or is that something you're working on adding in features?
Yes, and thank you for bringing that up, actually. That is something that we are working on, and it was one of our biggest concerns from the start, which is it kind of feels bad to be looking in one direction, get hit from behind, and launched somewhere without knowing where enemies are and kind of being able to predict that. So we're thinking about a system where weapon ranges are defined for individual weapons. They don't have unlimited range, and that when you are within an enemy's weapon range, that it may not tell you exactly where they are, but will at least give you that kind of spidey sense indicator that says you are at least in some sort of danger zone and put you on a little bit of an alert mode. If we find that's not enough, then perhaps some kind of positional information about where they are. We're avoiding a radar. Radars are boring.
And then what about you in relation to where you are on the map? Or like
That's not something we've considered.
Okay.
I think right now our maps are small enough and arena style enough, and I guess circular is what I mean by arena style, that it's not really a big problem to locate yourself on the map right now. But as our levels get more complicated, we can have to address that.
Yeah. Thank you. That's great feedback.
All right.
Sweet.
Okay.
Cool.
Thanks very much.